Hi, this is Junaid, neurocritical care stroke and epilepsy specialist. Today we're going to talk about basics of virtual residency interview, how to shine on Zoom. Now it's extremely important that you understand that today's interview are done virtually, and therefore there are a few tips and tricks you really need to deploy to make sure that you make a lasting impression. Again, the interviews are going to be held in October, November, December, and you're going to be ranked in March. People are going to forget. It's important that you make sure that you follow all the instructions that can help you shine on Zoom. Before we move forward, this is the first part of the residency interview basics. Make sure you listen to this first and then come back and listen to this one, because we talk about empathy and interview as a skill, which is important that you practice. So let's start with Zoom basics. Look, there are clearly some benefits about it, right? I mean, you don't have to travel, favors introverts, especially, those people who are actually shy coming out in person. They can really shine on Zoom because they can practice the hell out of it before the interview and they can actually shine. And then you can actually have more interviews, correct? I mean, there's really a big issue with traveling is concerned because you have to come the day before and day after, then you have to take time. And it's going to be very expensive if traveling is concerned. But however, Zoom definitely makes things a little bit easier in my opinion. However, it's less engaging. It doesn't favor the extroverts. And sometimes the interviews are shorter because it's just really hard on Zoom to continue to concentrate and take interviews after interviews. So it becomes a little hectic, especially if your interview is later in the day. People just want to get out of it. So there are pluses and minuses that you have to understand. And if it's later in the day, you're also tired. Make sure you do not look tired. Make sure you are all that energy and enthusiasm is shown at 5 p.m. interview as much as is shown at 8 a.m. interview. So let's understand the Zoom basics. Is very important that you switch to one-on-one view and make sure that you're not side to side, because you're going to be cross-eyed when you're looking at the screen. It's important that you're looking straight up, and we're going to talk about eye contact. You have a good internet connection, you have a backup internet connection, you have a good device, just a reliable device, not like you have to go buy a MacBook for this. What I'm saying is whatever your device is, make sure it's updated, make sure all the plugins are installed, make sure that the Zoom is working perfectly, and that's it. And always have a backup device and a backup internet connection. For people in the United States, sometimes the landline or the LAN internet connection is better, but I always personally, as a telehealth professional, have a cellular backup connection every time, right? I mean, because you never know when this is going to go off. So I can always hotspot it. Make sure you have that sort of situation going on that important day of your life. So what are the basics of video in general? That's how I learned, to be honest with you, with YouTube as well. The most important thing is ALF, audio, lighting, and framing. Look, I don't know if you remember this character. This was a character of a show that was when I was young, and that character's name was Elf. So I wanted to remember, and he has these black, dark eyes. So I always use that ALF-E, basically audio, lighting, framing, and eye contact. Audio is so important. I'm gonna forgive you choppy internet. I'm gonna forgive your choppy video. I'm gonna forgive, the lighting is not right. I'm gonna forgive everything. But if this video had hissing on it, you're going to turn it off and turn to the next video. Period. I can guarantee you that. It is so important that your audio is without echo. Your audio has no hissing. You're actually in a quiet environment. I personally prefer to use earbuds. When I'm actually doing my fireside chats, I use these earbuds. If I go under the shirt and then put it on, it's actually barely visible in terms of my audio as well. So it doesn't look like this big headset sitting on my head, but it actually decreases echo. It actually makes me help concentrate on the question that they are asking, because the environment can sometimes be distracting. So I would highly recommend that you use some sort of earbuds. Again, I don't prefer Bluetooth because it increases latency in communication. So there's 160 millisecond latency when the audio is responded to the Bluetooth. So you understand the latency perspective as well. And I would prefer that you use a wired audio in terms of earbuds. If you don't fit correctly, find a tip that fits you, and again, this is comfortable for you. Make an investment in that. It's extremely important. It's very cheap. I mean, these are actually Sony ones are $9 that I'm putting on right now, and I love them. I have like 6 of them, and even like when I'm talking to people in terms of not in Zoom, I actually like other Zoom meetings, I sometimes just put it on because there are things going on. Somebody starts a vacuum cleaner downstairs. It's just so easier to concentrate on important meetings as well. So make sure you have a wired earbuds. In my opinion, it decreases the latency. Mic is the second, the most important thing. If you have to spend money on something, spend money on a microphone. I recommend a USB microphone like this. It's $50, but you don't have to buy this one. You can just buy anything. Even a lapel mic that is wired in can cost up to like $12. So lapel mics have sometimes that you move, this comes in. So if you're able to hook it up in a way that it doesn't cause that rubbing sound, you should use that if you want to. I don't care what you use. At the end of the day, you have to practice with a friend, record the Zoom so that you understand that you are able to actually perform well and these things are out of the way. Audio is so important. I cannot overestimate the importance of audio. So make sure your audio is good. Second thing is lighting. Look, I mean, of course, there's some professional lights around going on here, but even with this professional camera, I have a light up here. And let me just show you actually. So this is the light that I have on that actually shines directly on my face. Now you see the difference. So the light is actually the more important thing as important to as camera is concerned, because the camera is one thing. Camera is actually something that you can understand no matter what the camera is. It does not matter. You don't have to buy professional cameras. You don't have to buy any different cameras. You don't even have to buy the webcam. The webcam that's on your laptop is good enough. What you need to know is make sure that you get a light. This is, I think, $10 on the Amazon. In different countries might be cheaper. Make sure there's a light that is on your face. Again, it's diffuse. It doesn't burn into your eyes. Make sure it's a little far away, that it doesn't bother you throughout the day on your interview, but make sure that you have a light that shines on your face, because that's the only thing you need. The webcam is perfect. The one thing that you can enhance so much with that webcam is a light that shines towards you, not from the back. It's extremely important. There's no light source in the back. The back you should not be facing, like there should not be a window there that is shining back, because that's going to really, again, disorient the person, because you're actually seeing a bright light and it's just hard to concentrate, and the person is going to look at. It's important that they look at you. You are in the frame, which is going to be coming next. But when you are framing yourself, the lighting is extremely important. Be in a bright lit room, because that's important too. Have some extra lights in there, like throw them out in the whole room. Some light stands, some night lights, whatever is in the home, just put them in the room, and then that whole room is actually brightly lit. Again, as long as it's not bothering you, that's also important, because it's going to be a long day. It's very important that you understand that it's going to be a very long day. You have to be professional the whole day. Think of every single minute, even with the coordinator, with other residents, with other applicants. You have to be professional the whole time. So be comfortable. Okay, last thing and most important thing is framing. People actually do this. This is the frame that comes in, and they're talking. When they're talking like this, they can't really show their body language. They're not enthusiastic about it. You have to make sure that your framing is like this. There's a little bit of space up here, and then your whole body is showing, including up to the navel. So when you are communicating your enthusiasm, it is coming in a way that is actually, person is recognizing it. Body language is very important in communication. You're not communicating with just your words and face. You're communicating with your whole body. So make sure you do that you actually frame yourself. You get a little further away. So it's very important that you actually understand that as well. Now, the last point, eye contact. Look, people who are so obsessed with eye contact that have developed these specialized cameras that go and get into the middle of the screen so you can actually maintain an eye contact when you're on the screen. It's hard. So how do you make sure you have eye contact? The first thing you need to do is look here. So make sure you have the camera and you have some sticky points right over here, and make sure you do this, because that's actually is going to remind you that you have to look here when you're doing the camera. The other thing I would really recommend is that you actually make the window up here, right here. So if this is up here, there was going to be your camera, and then the window comes here and your person is over here. So when you're looking at them, you actually have, basically it doesn't look like your eyes are drooping. So that's extremely important. You actually take the whole window that you're working with and make it a square all the way up here, so that it's right beneath the camera itself, and then you're talking to them, and this way your eye is going to automatically be in sync, because you don't have to just look at the camera. You have to look at the person as well. You have to look at their visual cues. You have to look at their body language and respond accordingly. So therefore, it is not just important to look at the camera, because you're going to lose the perspective of the person. So you have to do both things at the same place. So do it like this, like I do. Make sure you put a sticky point in, and make sure you shorten the window all the way up, and this way you are able to do that. I would still recommend having a notepad and then a keyword, so that you are actually making sure that you're answering the question that they're asking, as discussed in the first lecture. And secondly, the biggest problem with Zoom is interruptions. You think that the person has actually stopped talking, but they have taken a pause, and then you start to jump in. Take a pause. Let them finish, and then you answer the question precisely and accordingly, because they may start with a simple thing. So we're talking about your research when you were at X institution, and then you jump in, oh yeah, that was a great experience. Hold on. He maybe actually then has a question, I really wanted to ask you about this particular project, and you have just started talking. And then, and then you have to say, oh, it's an interruption, etc. And first of all, it is going to happen. Actually, let me explain this. Shit's going to happen, period. Do not let it bother you. If one interview goes bad, it doesn't mean that the whole interview day needs to go bad. Make sure that you recover from it right away. It does not matter. There are many interviews. There are ways that the whole day is going to go. Make sure you just say, I apologize for this interruption. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? I apologize for the interruption. My computer just gave out. I had to reconnect. I'm sorry. That's okay. It happens. It happened to me, right? And very big meetings with CEO of hospital healthcare systems. It happens. They understand that too. They're also human beings. It has happened to them. There are technological failures. Do not get it to your head. Make sure that you recover right away and get into the game right as soon as possible. Minimize interruptions. Take a pause. Let them finish the question and then answer it. They're going to understand it. And you can actually, practice it. Practice, practice, practice. It's so darn important that you keep practicing. And the last and the most important thing is smile, for God's sakes. You know what? You have to put a smile on your face. Let me give you an example. So they did a study on TED Talks, the number of views in millions to the person who was doing and what were the characteristics. There were two important characteristics. Number one, the person who was delivering, they can see their elbows and hands in that video. And when they were able to see their elbows and hands in their video, they were communicating with their whole body. People responded to that. And the second important thing, they had a smile on their face. Have a genuine smile. Show your interest. You're going to be a freaking neurologist. Be happy about it. It doesn't matter. Again, I told you, it's a match. It's not a lottery. They are also looking for the right person as you are looking for the right program. The third lecture that I wanted to do was actually do a mock interview, and I answer like some of these mock questions with proper setup and everything. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do so. If you really want me to do this third lecture in terms of a mock interview, just answering questions for you, make sure you comment so that I understand that it is something that you guys want, and I'll be happy to do that. Again, I'm very grateful for your time. Thank you. If you save a life, it is as if you saved the life of mankind. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and my newsletter. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way is to go through Twitter or via LinkedIn. Also, make sure you follow the Academy website for regular updates. Thank you so much.